Birds are singing in the trees, all the leaves are falling in the breeze. The views all around are the best you've seen, living on the land.
Welcome to another episode of Country Cousins. It's a little bit rainy, so I'll get this over with quickly. Well, today's episode is in appreciation of the local Warrigal SES, Search and Rescue, volunteers who are wonderful people. And we had a storm a few years ago, which was a dreadful all-nighter, and a few cypress trees came down and squashed our Horse Riding Landy. Anyway, the story follows. Well, we've had a major wind event, and these three massive old cypress trees here on my little farm have blown over. That wonderful institution, the SES, have weighed in because the trees have fallen on the old Land Rover, and they're here helping to try and get it out.
Alan Mail, I'm the unit controller for Warrigal SES unit.
Okay, and we've had a big storm weather event.
We have right across Bulbul, 118 jobs we've attended to in the last 3 days. And, you know, this is an interesting job that we've got here for you, to try and get your Series 1 Land Rover out of the trees that have fallen on top of it. But, you know, hopefully very shortly we'll have that out and you'll be able to go and feed your cows.
What sort of a time have you had? This weather event was about 4 or 5 days ago. Do you want to tell our viewers what you've been up to?
Basically, the crews have been working 24/7, you know, having rest breaks and getting back out into it. And this job that we're doing right now is the last one that we've got open. So we've had everything from trees on power lines, trees on houses, 4 road crash rescues, a landslide, flooding, sandbagging of houses. You know, it's been, you know, a pretty intense last few days.
And are you doing this like all night long?
Yes, we've got 2 crews, 2 shifts, working day and night crews, and the guys, I can't thank them enough for their efforts that they've put in. They've just gone above and beyond.
And volunteers too, aren't they?
Absolutely, every one of us is a volunteer, and yeah, we're out here to look after our communities.
Fantastic.
It's been a busy few days. Yeah, so no, it's certainly been an interesting balance to keep the community safe and keep us, our own families and things still going while we've also got no power and no water and all that sort of stuff ourselves for some of us. So it's really a matter of prioritising what needs to be done first. What are your main roads and what's the things that are most dangerous to human life, really. So, yeah, it's times when we've certainly got to step up. Sleep's a thing of the past. We do have rest breaks and food occasionally. But for many of us, of course, we're volunteers as well. So we've also got our jobs to go to and trying to balance the needs of our work with the needs of volunteering at the same time. So it's a bit of a tricky business. Yes. But this is what we signed up for.
Well, that's fantastic. Have you been up all night lately?
Sometimes it took all night to get home, depending on where you live. It was a bit tricky for ourselves as well. So, yeah, because I've got a full-time job as well, so I've sort of had to get home and check in with my work. And I did actually ask my work, is there any chance I can be SES today instead of work? And they looked at me and said, half our staff can't get here. And I'm like, oh, okay then. So that can be a tricky balance as well. But we've got a pretty amazing team of people that really do sort of look after our community, so we're pretty lucky.
So what are you actually up to at the moment?
Trying to remove the bonnet to turn around and make life easy for myself.
I've only been around for about 6 months now, started in sort of January, and yes, I'm relatively new compared to some of the more experienced guys here, but having a bowl so far. So.
Well, you've been in boots and all this last week, short week, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. The last couple of days has been really hectic. Just job after job after job for most of the night. So.
I think the winds have been 120 k's an hour or so that Wednesday night. Have you heard?
Yeah, up around that sort of number, and they definitely felt like it being out on the roads and things, almost pushing the vehicles sideways. Definitely pretty hairy.
So you were out that night?
Yeah, for the most of the night.
Not for the faint-hearted?
I don't know. It's not too bad through SES. You've got a lot of, sort of PPE and things that sort of keeps you safe, and so you do feel like you are somewhat protected, but it is still gets the wind up you.
A lot of emphasis is put on safety training for all the crew members, so that we're constantly viewing what's around us all the time.
And what you're doing at the moment with this tree on my place is that you're going about it the right way. It's a bit of a training exercise at the same time, isn't it? Everyone's in a learning curve too.
Absolutely, because this is a very technical job, because we've got a lot of weight and on the branches and so forth, and we don't want to damage the car anymore. So we've got to do it piece by piece and section by section, and just to see how the tree falls as we do it.
Because it's a big tree, isn't it? Well, it's a big 3 trees.
It's huge. It's probably one of the biggest ones I've tackled.
Trust me.
That's cool. No. Well, the guys now are just going to go in and we're going to start cutting those big branches, and then we should be able to have it free.
Gee, that'll be good. And do you jump on the chainsaw yourself?
Yes, I do. Yep.
And were you up all through that night, the shocking wind night, Wednesday?
I was up until 1 o'clock Thursday morning.
Then now I think it would have been very scary to be outside in that.
Yeah, it was, especially heading down around Lardness track area.
Yes.
It was pretty much like a war zone going through there. A couple of times we had to dodge a couple of branches, so...
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we better go and see. I think they're about to pull it out with a bit of luck, the old Landy.
Yeah, hopefully we can get her out soon.
All right. He gave you some spanners.
Yeah, they're up there on the barrier.
Good.
Oi, Dave, do you want to go those spanners?
We've managed to clear some of the tree off the vehicle to the point where I think we might actually be able to get this vehicle out. So we're just swapping the battery over, and with a bit of luck, we'll have a rescue on our hands.
Fantastic. Now you do this all over the place, don't you?
Certainly have done the last 6 days. It's been pretty mad. In fact, looking forward to reintroducing myself to my work colleagues who think I'm AWOL at the moment. But so it's been pretty mad the last week. But it's all for the best of the community.
Well, that's right. We were looking at you before when you were doing something to your chainsaw, and there was a whole lot of steam coming off your back.
Yeah, it's a bit nippy at the moment up here. It's a beautiful view, but it not so much in there. But that's all right. It's all about the community, so we're trying to do our best.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, what's your other job?
Davey Pumps, another proudly Australian business.
Yeah, fantastic. That's great. Well, this is the calm before the storm. They're regrouping, and we'll see whether we can start the Landy and drive it out. It's kind of intact, and at the same time, it's kind of not intact. You did a marvellous job steering the Landy out of the trees, Leanne.
I did.
I know, you were so marvellous. It's quite a dangerous looking job, I thought. What did you think at the time?
I couldn't see the wheels to steer it.
Well, you were having orders barked at you by your beloved husband, and you did marvellously, I thought.
Just ignore him.
All's well that ends well, anyway, isn't
yes.
it?
Very good. Well done. Good job.
Well, I think it's done pretty well, seeing it's had 3 massive cypress trees fall on it.
That's not in bad condition for that.
Well, what's the prognosis, Brett?
The prognosis is that the car's very well bent in the cab.
Yes.
It's going to take a fair bit to repair it, and that's only if John wants to repair it.
It's repairable.
All Landys are repairable because they have a riveted body.
Okay, right.
But I don't know how much damage is done to the chassis where the bull bar is, because the bull bar's hanging off the front of the car.
Oh,
So
okay.
it might not be even worth repairing.
Oh, okay. Well,
Wait and see, eh?
Wait and see. Well, that was a pretty good job, wasn't it?
Well, we got out of the trees.
What'd you find? A lid? Well, folks, that's a good story. Well, here come a couple of heartwarming stories of Land Rover adventures.
Hello?
Hello, Jeffrey. Now,
Hello, Christine. How are you?
oh, you don't have to do that.
Oh, I was
This is-
bowing.
Oh. Okay. Now,
Yes,
you got a horse riding adventure to tell us.
Oh, today. Well, today.
Something startling, shocking.
What, early on in the horse riding?
Anyway, yeah, something.
Oh, well.
Something memorable.
Well, there was one time when we were up in the high plains, I do recall, and I don't know, I just was wandering around, and John just said, look, we'll be over there somewhere, over the hill, just come down. And of course I got lost. I didn't know where I was, and John always said, just let the horse go, it'll be fine, you'll get there. And I let the horse go, and it completely got lost. Everyone was lost. I was with another girl, and we just it was pitch black, and honestly, we've been wandering around for hours going, the horse must be going the right way, but we weren't. And I just remember that we came over something and there was a tiny little light like miles away. I said, it must be a fire. And that's how we got home. But it was really late. Oh. Of course, we got there and everyone was drinking beer and having a lovely time, having dinner. And we're going, oh, did you miss us? Not a sausage. Didn't even know we were missing.
Oh, no, gosh.
They did, but they hadn't sent out the party to save us. So anyway, but all good. It was great. Yeah.
What, you must have another adventure?
Oh, you mean
rescue, adventure, saving?
Oh, I think the other fun things I remember, fun more than adventures, were when we were. I can't remember the name of the place, but it was deep and it was dark and it was misty and moss everywhere and trees were lined. It was just so beautiful, so natural and green and inviting, and it was the stage where we might be in the mid horse ride, like after 10 days we'd have 4 or 5 days and everyone's a bit dirty. So John had always had a tin bath plonked up in the middle of a tree, so no one could find it, of course. And we'd bring it down and we'd put it by the river and we'd dig a hole and then put a fire in the middle of the hole and then put the tin bath and fill it up. And then, of course, no soap, you just had to get in. But I remember the highlight was the breadboard. Because the tin would get that hot, you'd burn something if you sat on it. So we had to sit on the breadboard in the hot bath. But I think that's like one of those memorable moments of horse riding.
I know. Yeah. And then when everyone had been through the bath, you just shake it off and then chop the veggies with it.
Correct. We had to use the breadboard wasn't just a breadboard; it was the bottom saver. Yeah. No, that was a lot of fun. So that was like a memorable thing. There were a lot of little stories like that, I think. Years and years of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, and adventure. And John, I remember one time we were riding very quickly through a small gully and, horses going everywhere and sweat flying off and all the rhythm of going and galloping a horse. And John just pulled up, all of us just suddenly just like this, put the brakes on the horse, jumped off, got his axe out of the side of the saddle and went whack. And it was a snake. He chopped off the snake's head, and then he grabbed the snake and like this, and pulled, and then wrapped it round his hat, and got back on the horse and rode off.
What, pulled the skin off it?
Skin off the snake. Very John, I thought. You know, all the girls are going, ah. But that was another thing I recall.
That's a funny story.
Yeah, I remember it very well.
And were you involved in pulling horses out of bogs or pulling the Landy out of bogs?
That Land Rover, I mean, no matter how you drove it, which way you drove it, would tear you to the left or tear you to the right anyway. So you were gripping with all your strength to just drive it straight. And then if you had to change gear, it was like like this, you know. And sometimes it happened. Most of the time you'd be in first most of the time. You know, if you could get into second, it was a miracle. If you got into third, the thing went backwards. So it was just. It's a car, it's sort of a car, but it's like a relic that still moves. Yeah, in fact, I'm surprised it's not here today. Yeah.
And well, sometimes it didn't have a clutch at all, and sometimes it only had one gear, didn't it?
Exactly, and Leon the Speed King often drove that car.
Leon, yes, he's gone now, isn't he?
He's gone, I'm afraid, but he's still shining down on us.
Yes, well, he was always a lot of fun round the campfire. He was, wasn't he?
Leon was a good guy, playing the guitar.
Always got a bit of a song on horseback, sailing along through the bush.
Yes, he was singing Bing Crosby songs, as I recall. No, that's not true. I just made that up.
But he could have been. He could have been. He would have done Bing very well.
He would have. Don't fence me in, it would have been.
Very good.
Yeah.
Ripper.
All right.
All right. Oh, thanks, Jeffrey.
It's a pleasure. Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. I
All the
know.
best.
Well, here's a few more Landy adventures. Well, John, now how about rattling off your version of Gable's End?
Gable's End. Very hard work. Early day, out of camp 7:30, on the horses 7:30. Gable End, Razorback, up you go the whole day. Dotted red line on a map. There used to be a cattle track down there years ago, and it had all grown up saplings. It was horrendous. Every time you stopped, ants swarmed up the legs of your horses.
Oh.
Bye all.
Bull ants?
Oh no, just ants, irritating ants. And on my hands and knees at one stage, cutting through some track or other. Had the day pack. Anyway, had it. My legs were just cramped up, and I just gave up. We got to the point, and it fell away for the first time of the day. It went downhill, and as it fell away, you looked up, and it was this just 200, I don't know how big, just Gable End, just a flat face of bloody rock. And anyway, James sort of took control at that stage and surged at this rock, and I don't know how we got up that. There was horses going backwards off it, saddles were ripped off. We got to the top, I couldn't believe it. We should have gone out the side and up. It took them 20 years to find this track, and they had to go sideways first. We didn't know that.
Who's this right back early days?
Right back early days. They didn't use the Wellington Plains for cattle because they couldn't get them up from the Avon, the lowlands. So for years, all this wasted Wellington Plains. Anyway, they finally found it and cut down the creek and then down the end of Gable's End. They used to start them in the morning and walk up and walk them until they were so tired they'd just stop. Everyone would lie down on the ground, go to sleep, and if they weren't tired enough, the cattle would go over the edge for water. And it was a mess.
What, jump off?
No, just walk down one side. One side was sheer, the other side was... And so anything stirred first thing in the morning, off they'd go and push these things up. Probably had 20 dogs or something, And we got to the top of Gable End and we thought, we're home. And it was cold and it was bloody wet and we had some alcohol and we drank the alcohol. It was dark. We went hammering in across this rocky plain and we could smell the smoke in Miller Hut. I thought, great, Philip will be there. Now, Philip was on the side of the road after reversing for about 3 or 4 miles with a broken back diff. So he just stopped on the side of the road with Willie and Kathy and lay down and went to sleep. The fire was just on the way out from someone else, and we got in there, we had to build yards. We so buggered. And we had nothing to eat. We found some Deb instant mashed potato that somebody had left in the hut. We got some watercress, cooked it all up in the billy, shoveled it in. The fire was smoky and shit house, and we had 2 single beds with crisscross cyclone on it. Single beds, we had one this way, head to toe, 2 people, a third person on top, so each bed had 3 people, had 6 people in the bed, and the rest were just keeping the fire going or just sitting in it smoky, and the floor of the hut was wet because just when they'd finished building the hut, they'd dug out above it to get some mud to cork the whole thing, and they'd broken up in a spring. And bloody Miller's hut was permanently awash. It was just a nightmare. Anyway, that was it.
Oh, well, when did the Landy finally arrive? That was a big job. I remember that had to come up from down
We had to
home,
bring
didn't
a
it?
diff up. Philip got himself towed in by somebody came past and they towed him into Moroka Hut. He walked out with a bridle. We were waiting at the hut, didn't know what to do in the morning. Philip wanders in with a bridle out of a spare horse. He gets up on Diamond. We go hurtling back to Moroka Hut. That's a fair ride, you know, that's half a day. And we get there and he goes out. Philip is without fatigue, you know, he goes out and finds Dad and Peter Tuck. They get some differ.
Well, that's hours away. That's down the mountain.
Oh, that's 4 or 5 hours away. And we just lie down on the ground. And for 2 days, you'd wake up and you'd look around and people were sleeping everywhere in the Moroka Glen. And you just lie down again, you know, you'd have something to eat and you'd wake up and people had moved and I was still asleep. And they just kept, for about a day and a half, people were just walking around sleeping and eating. Philip was under the truck with Peter Tuck and Dad pulling the diff out.
Well, how did you get food?
Oh, we had food. The truck was full of food. This was day 2 of a ride or something. We had a mountain of food.
The truck wasn't where the hut was.
He got towed into the hut.
Oh, towed into the hut.
Some mob of cattle came up in the middle of in the morning when he was there, and he said to them, "Do you mind towing us in?" And I said, "Nah." And they just kept on going. He took their cattle up. And they came back later and they were in a hurry and they said he towed him at huge speed. He was hanging onto this Land Rover. These buggers who were annoyed at towing him thrashed him into Moroka Hut and set up there. And I don't know how he got out. I wasn't interested in those kind of details at that stage. But I read later about Howard, who tried to go up that spur. He had 3 goes or 2 goes at that, and he got turned back.
Oh.
And I thought, if there had been, the weather was beautiful, which is not predictable, you know. He got turned back through weather, another time just through tangle and rubbish. It was dreadful. So I felt a bit better, you know.
Oh. Well, you did.
Howard, you know, got up the Burke and Wills and dragged them back with no trouble at all. He was very good at this sort of thing. So I thought, okay.
Right, so where he failed, you succeeded, and with horses.
Well, we could say that if we spoke loosely, yeah. He would have had horses.
Oh, would he?
And he came back later with his daughters to do the same thing, and he failed. He failed a couple of times. He went up parallel ridges.
Oh, well, that's a job well done, I'd say.
Plus finding Tali Khan, which is up the top of where we were, you know, that was rumoured to exist and all of that. Anyway.
Good.
All right.
Beauty. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm Christine. See you next week.
Birds are singing in the trees, all the leaves are falling in the breeze. The views all around are the best you've seen, living on the land. Take another stroll in the morning sun, the sun's always brighter when the spring's begun. Family all together when the day is done, living